JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Series spanning across several decades, 8 parts, and 8 JoJos. Why is this entertaining, you may ask? I actually don't know, and that's what we'll be getting into. Why is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure entertaining? Number 1 out of 10. Or whatever. The fights. There are many fights in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, such as Jonathan versus Dio, Cars versus Joseph, Jojo versus Dio, Josuke versus Yoshikage Kira, Diavolo versus Jurno, Johnny versus Funny Valentine, and nothing, I think. Plus, there are many stand battles and Hamon, which is the main thing for parts 1 and 2, which we'll get into. Another thing that's good about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Hamon. Hamon is the ancient technique passed down through generations that has to do with your lungs and breathing. So basically, it's this magic with breathing that can stop vampires and pillar men. And now let's get into stands. Stands are the manifestation of fighting spirit that can only touch other stands. These stands can have many abilities, going from strings, to putting people in death loops, to restoring things, to punching but hard, to fire, to spirit photography for some reason, right? That's what it says here? Yeah, that's what it says. Another thing that's good about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, the plot. I'll summarize each of them up to the current part that I'm on, which is part 6, Stone Ocean. Okay, spoiler alert first. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, part 1. Dario dies. Just kidding. Yes, he does. Dio kills Jonathan's dad. Jonathan gets mad. Jonathan kills Dio. Just kidding. His head flies off. Stone Mask gets destroyed. Just kidding. Jonathan dies. Part 2. Joseph Joestar runs, and then he meets a booger cop. Then he meets his bubbly boyfriend named Caesar, and his mom. You don't know that yet. Lisa. But then he meets this other guy named Von Stroheim, which is trying to steal the Red Stone of Asia, which is this ultimate stone that, when combined with the Stone Mask, gives ultimate life. And now, part 3. There is a lot to go over in part 3, starting with, oh no, Jojo got locked up. Oh, I'm Joseph Joestar, I saved you. Just kidding. I want you to kill your grandfather. So they go to Egypt in a 50-day journey, and like halfway through they meet the 2 best characters in the franchise by far, besides Joseph Joestar and Narancha, in my opinion, and Foo Fighters. But this is an anime exclusive video, so Foo Fighters doesn't count since 90% of the viewers don't know what a Foo Fighter is, or what a stando. Just kidding, a spin even is. I don't even know what a spin is. What is a spin? That's not what I'm covering, but Oingo Boingo Brothers are one of the best, most solid characters. That episode, specifically at the ending part where they're like, Oingo Boingo Brothers, literally had me laughing for like that entire ending. So these people with the book and with the shape-shifting kill Jojo. Just kidding. They get to Egypt. Abdul dies. Dog named Iggy dies. Let me teach you about Iggy. He likes coffee, gum, and farting. And Polnareff somehow survives. Joseph Joestar dies. Just kidding. Dio dies because Jojo killed him. Kakyoin dies, which is this dude who likes cherries and has red hair. This is a spoiler alert part of the video, so I don't even know why I'm introducing you to them. So now, part 4. Diamond is unbreakable. In part 4, Diamond is unbreakable. There's this dude, this really bad dude. He's been doing bad stuff and cutting off women's hands and only killing women. But he has a kill count of like 66 in the actual anime. So, let's get into Josuke. Josuke is this kid that gets mad at you insulting his hair because of his savior. He had the hair. And when Josuke was like 3, the savior came and he saved him like a savior. No duh. And then there's this midget named Koichi and this girl named Yukiko they date. And then there's this dude named Okiyasu. I love this man. Not like that. I'm not gay. No homo. No homo. Seriously, no homo. And this dude, he can erase things with his right hand, but only on his stand. So then, they travel across the land. Just kidding. They stay in one land. And this dude, Kira, kills this other dude and steals his face with this girl Cinderella's stand. Her stand is Cinderella. I don't remember her name. It's an entire arc with Yukiko, basically. So, then, here it goes with Hayato. And he keeps on resetting things with his Killer Queen's Bomb Type 3. Like the dust. And then Josuke finds him. And he kills him. Just kidding, the ambulance kills him. And now, part 5, Vento Arreo / Golden Wind Doo-doo-do. And so Journo is this kid who's newly manifested his stand powers. Remember this. Basically, this kid meets this gay guy. They're all gay in this part. This is the part that non-JoJo fans say is gay. So Bruno, over here, licks this man's face. He killed somebody, but Bruno doesn't know. Only Journo. And then there are these other people named Narancha, Abakio, and Mista. Fugo doesn't really matter. He leaves halfway through in like episode 24. He just leaves. He doesn't want to be a traitor. But we'll get to that. So then these guys, Mista, Fugo, and Narancha, they do a little dance because it's like a burning sunset. So then these guys go and meet up with a few different people. Let me introduce you to these people in order. But first, I don't remember all of these people's names actually. So then, there's this guy that can shrink Narancha. So basically, they fight. Then there's Journo, Fugo, and Abakio. And Fugo goes into the mirror world with this dude. And Purple Haze, which only shows up once, just gets really mad and kills a bunch of birds. So the guy gets really confused and then he gets punched like a lot. And then there are these two brothers. And these guys are named Pesci and the other one. So Pesci looks like a carrot. And the other one dies in a train, actually under a train, like in the little wheel. But Pesci thought he could revive his brother or avenge his brother by killing Bruno. So Bruno was like, no, you. And so Pesci, he just flopped over and he just died. And Mista in this fight was about to die, but shockingly he didn't die. And then there was this guy with his computer who impregnated a girl, but not really. It was just a computer. He took like a strand of her hair or whatever he took, and he put it into the computer. And what that made is a steel spiky baby. And this steel spiky baby cut off little squares of Journo. But Journo punched him a lot. So then Journo and Mista are fighting this ice guy. And let me guess, there's a gay moment? You're correct. With Journo and Mista. But they kill the ice guy. Narancho receives the moment. Bruno and Trish is the boss's daughter. since they're in a whole mafia. And Bruno thinks Trish dies, but then he meets the boss and his stand, Emperor Crimson. Just Crimson. So, his stand, Crimson, goes and kills Bruno. Just kidding, Bruno revives him somehow. And then they become traitors. Fugo and Naranja stay behind, but then Naranja swims up because good boy. And then there's this dude with a shark, and there's this dude with a tongue. And the tongue attaches to Naranja, and the shark, it goes in the water of a toilet. So this guy, he fights Naranja. Well, these guys, they fight Naranja, and then they die. And then Trish is on a plane by herself and gets attacked by Notorious B.I.G. So she summons her Spice Girl, and Bruno and a Bacchio kill Notorious B.I.G. Then this good boy named Adopio, just kidding, meets this metal guy named Risotto. And then Doppio kills Abacchio. And then there's this dude named Secco and the other guy again. But this time it's not the other guy that died in the train. It's the other guy. You know what I'm talking about, then? You know what I'm talking about. Secco's little buddy. And then Bruno fights both of them. And Journo goes muda 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 and kills the other guy. Loop that like 12 times and you're good. And then Polnareff, a guy from part 3, is disabled. So this Polnareff guy actually goes and gives Journo the stand arrow. But oh no, Doppio is the boss, and the boss's name is Diavolo. And body swap. So Fugo, or not Fugo, Mista and Trish, they get in a little feud over the fact that Mista accidentally existed. But then they all fight. Naranja dies. Bruno dies. Polnareff stabs his stand, Silver Chariot, with the Requiem arrow, creating a new stand, Chariot Requiem. And then they chase it around for like a solid 2 episodes. And then Journo stabs his stand with the Requiem arrow. Diavolo thinks he'll win. He talks about fate and stuff for like a solid 5 minutes. And then Diavolo dies. And then dies. And then Diavolo 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 dies. 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 And then Mista and Journo become the boss. That's it for this video. Goodbye.